Southwest pilot is suing the company, her union, and a former colleague who pleaded guilty to deadbolting the cockpit door on an airplane mid-flight and stripping naked in front of her. Pilot Christine Janning alleges that Southwest retaliated by grounding her after she reported Michael Hack's behavior to the company and the FBI. She was grounded for more than 3 months, costing her part of her salary, and she was required to take unnecessary flight simulator training before returning to fly. She also alleged on the day she was grounded, the airline stranded her in Denver and the FBI had to book her a flight home, and that a manager later disparaged her flying competency in a memo sent to 25+ employees. What does that have to do with her allegations about sexual misconduct towards this pilot? Nothing at all. She also alleges that Southwest Airlines Pilots Association conspired with the airline and refused to support her. She is suing Hack for sexual assault. He pleaded guilty last year to a federal misdemeanor charge of committing a lewd incident or indecent or obscene act and was sentenced to probation. So he has already pled guilty for a misdemeanor here, a charge of committing a lewd, indecent, or obscene act. But then his attorney completely backtracked. So Michael Salnick said that his client disrobed only after Janning encouraged him to. Salnick claims Janning asked Hack if there was anything he wanted to do before retiring, to which he replied, the desire to fly naked. He alleges she told Hack to go ahead and then made sexual advances after he disrobed. He said Hack rejected those advances and adamantly denied a lewd act had occurred. According to the lawsuit that was filed last week in Orange County, Florida, Janning had never met Hack before August of 2020, and when she was his co-pilot on a flight from Philadelphia to Orlando, she says Hack, a 27-year veteran of the airline, had used his seniority rights the previous day to bump another pilot who had been scheduled to command the flight. Janning believes that's because he saw a woman was the scheduled co-pilot, so this was perhaps premeditated. When they reached cruising altitude, Hack told her this was his final flight and there was something he wanted to do before retirement. He bolted the door so no flight attendant could enter. He then allegedly put the plane on autopilot, stripped off his clothes, began watching pornography on his laptop, and committed a lewd act for 30 minutes while taking photos and videos of himself. At a sentencing hearing last year, Hack called the incident a consensual prank that got out of hand. It doesn't seem that that is the case. Janning said in the lawsuit that she's horrified, but she kept flying in the plane while taking photos to create a record. The plane landed safely, and that wasn't Hack's final flight. He flew for 3 more weeks after this. Meanwhile, Janning didn't report the incident to a Southwest employee relations investigator until 3 months later. She said she waited because her boss had disparaged her to a male colleague previously. She said she asked the investigator not to inform her boss, but she did. Janning said she was told that because Hack had retired, the airline's investigation was closed. Janning then went to the FBI, who charged Hack. She alleges Southwest had sent Hack to a Montreal sexual harassment counseling center after a 2008 incident with a flight attendant. The response from both the company and the union. Southwest denied Janning's allegations, saying in a statement, "We immediately supported Janning by cooperating with the appropriate outside agencies as they investigated. When she contacted the union, its leaders did nothing to help her, but did write a letter to Hack's judge during his misdemeanor case saying he had a spotless record." Now we know that that's definitely not the case. If he had to attend a sexual harassment training in 2008, it's really sad that the union is not stepping in and helping this worker who clearly has a case here. The FBI has to get involved because not only will Southwest not manage its employees' terrible behavior, but also the union is not supporting the worker either. Now the FBI is involved. Imagine being on an airplane. You're trapped in confined quarters with your co-pilot, and this is what goes down. Also, imagine being a passenger on this flight while this is happening. Jackson, this is craziness. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think this is a great example of why many women never come forward at all, because oftentimes they literally can't afford the consequences that they are likely to face. Being that people are in positions of seniority above them, and they can put them through unnecessary obstacles, like was done with this woman. And obviously it's good that this story got out, but this guy, I mean, his defense really was horrible because like, well, it was a prank, but it's like you're an adult, you know what I mean? And people, men who are socially and sexually competent with women don't do stuff like this. You know what I'm saying? Like it's really just like a dominance trip, like making her feel uncomfortable so that I can feel in control of the situation in some type of way. You know what I mean? Just given that we're such sexual creatures and men really are more hypersexual than women, generally speaking. You know what I'm saying? When you don't deliver upon those needs in a proper way, guys oftentimes develop weird characteristics and behavior like this to fulfill those needs. So, but unfortunately, women go through stuff like this regularly, and a lot of them never come forward because they have to pay their bills.
Yeah, absolutely. I was gonna make a joke about like jacking the plane. It's not appropriate. We don't need to make light of this. This is a bad situation. Solidarity with this worker. I hope she gets justice and doesn't end up losing her job.